Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The elite guard of Naggarond is on the march as they face off against the Tomb Kings. We do have Killerino leading the Dark Elf forces, and Sergeant Spaghetti will be leading the Tomb Kings. So for the Dark Elf army, we do have Marathi up in the sky, and she will be flanked by a couple of Feral Manticores. So for her abilities, she is going to be bringing a lot of her debuffs, so she does have the Enchanting Beauty, -9 melee attack, and Heartrender and the Dark Sword with an additional -9 to melee defense and melee attack, all in an AoE. She does have Soul Stealer, good at kind of really punishing that blob, and a Wand of Karedan, which will do a nice little bombardment, good against single targets. Otherwise, for the rest of the forces, we do have a front line of Blackguard Corsairs, 4 of which, and they will do quite well at chewing through the Tomb King front line. Anything other than Tomb Guard, they will do quite well at just kind of mowing right on through. We do have a couple of Blackguard Naggarond, and they will do quite well against the large constructs. And with that, we also do have the Witch Elves. So these Witch Elves will have their Rampage, and that is how they're going to get those large targets onto those Blackguards and keep them there. So that's going to be a very nice combo. I do like to see that. Otherwise, we also see a couple of Doomfire Warlocks on the far flanks right now. And those Doomfire Warlocks do have a little bit of extra abilities. They do have a Soul Blight, 2 of which per unit, as well as the Lesser Doom Bolt, which will do a nice little magic Doom Bolt coming down. Good against a single unit. Just a little extra damage coming the way. A little bit of mobile support on top of that. But for the Tomb King forces, we do have Arkin the Black. He is going to be bringing Spirit Leech, the Liber Mortis, Staff of Nagash, and the Tomb Blade of Arkin. So pretty standard stuff for him. He is going to be on his horse, and the only thing is the Spirit Leech. You might often see also bringing Fate of Buna or something like that, but pretty standard for his kit. For the rest of the forces, we do have Skeleton Warriors in the front line, 4 of those, and they will be backed up by some Tomb Scorpions. So a pair of those, and there is a couple of Spearmen in the flanks as well with the King Nakesh's Scorpion Legion, who do poison damage, so that is very nice to have on the field, though there isn't really any large targets. There is the 2 Feral Manticores that will help in those regards. Otherwise, we do have a Necrotech as well, which does have their healing and is going to be good at healing all of the constructs that are on the field, which includes a couple of Necropolis Knights. So these are just the regular variant. These are not the halberds, but they are still a very, very good, heavy mobile force, even though they are a little bit slow. 66 speed, it's not too bad, but it's not on the speed of these Doomfire Warlocks, which do have 92. And we do have some Ushabti Great Bows on top of that, though again, there isn't really a whole lot of good targets for them. I suppose they should pretty much be shooting into the Blackguard throughout the course of this match, and there is the Sepulchral Stalkers as well, which do very good against large targets if they can get their ranged attacks off, and it is a very scary thing as they can quickly burst those down. But those are our armies for today, so let's get things rolling as the armies are about to engage in that front line. The Blackguard Corsairs able to kind of come in really, really quickly here, and a nice Doom Bolt right here that was from Marathi, her Wand of Karedan, and doing a lot of damage here. But otherwise, these front lines are going to be engaging as the Blackguard Corsairs do engage, and they will really do a lot of damage very, very quickly. Another Doom Bolt going down from the Doomfire Warlocks, I believe, and not doing as much damage as the other one, but still doing a little bit of poking damage themselves. Marathi herself has been Spirit Leech a little bit, but she should be able to regain a lot of that health with some nice Soul Stealers, and I believe that is one that's a Soul Blight right now, so -30 armor and base weapon damage, really allowing those Corsairs to just absolutely mow through that front line. We do get a summon down from Arkin right here as these Necropolis Knights get a nice surround off actually onto these Doomfire Warlocks. A very nice pick there, as they are kind of sandwiched between these Doom Scorpion and those Necropolis Knights, and those Doomfire Warlocks will not do very well there. And here comes the support and the Goon Squad of the Feral Manticores getting right on top of Arkin, and it looks like we also have a Soul Stealer as well going down on this blob. Another nice pick as she is healing up very, very quickly, and Arkin Black does able to get a little bit free, but down they come again, and they are going to be doing a ton of damage, and there is no support, though these Sepulchral Stalkers should really turn around and fire. They are firing right now into these Doomfire Warlocks, who have gotten onto the back of these Ushabti Great Bows, but Arkan is in a very bad space as there is no support. The Ushabti summon going down, that really probably should have been done around Arkan because he is in a bad spot right now, and he will not be surviving long if he does not get support. And finally, the Sepulchral Stalkers do go in. The Doomfire Warlocks have been able to be pushed off by the Necrotech, so these Ushabti Greatbow are back online, at least for the time being, and Arkan is able to kind of scurry his way out of that engagement as the Sepulchral Stalkers do take the brunt of that. And they're not really doing a whole lot of damage. In melee, I find they don't really do as much as they probably could be. Their best thing is their range attack, which just can mulch through large targets exceptionally fast. But right now, Man's Power is still fairly even right now with the Ushabti summon going down, and these front line actually are starting to kind of falter a bit for the Dark Elves, though the Blackguard are still standing very strong. This Tomb Scorpion going down pretty quickly, but now Morathi is a little isolated now. Instead of Arkan, we do have the Feral Manticores here to support, but she is just getting absolutely melted by this range attack. As I was just saying, that is just such a powerful ranged attack, and she really should just pull out right now and wait for a nice Soul Stealer to get her health back up, because right now she is very danger low, and even with the support of the two Feral Manticores, she does rout right now, and Arkan is still sitting pretty as the this mass of Tomb Kings are just kind of mowing through each of these Corsair units one at a time, picking them off, although these two Blackguard are going to be so hard to deal with because there's nothing that the Tomb Kings really have that can effectively deal with them other than the Ushabti Greatbows. And the Ushabti Greatbows have taken a ton of damage. It looks like we do have a Doom Bolt coming down on top of Arkan, and if it does connect, that'll do a ton of damage. I do believe that is the Wand of Caradon, and it does miss. That could have been it for Arkan had that connected, and Morathi will once again rout as she does kind of preemptively dive in, and she really should not have been doing that. If we do have one of the Doomfire Warlocks shatter off of trying to charge into those Sepulchral Stalkers, who have surprisingly taken quite a bit of damage from these two Feral Manticores. So it looks like a Spirit Leech going down on top of Morathi, a very good pick by Arkan trying to finish her off, but he is kind of in a bad spot as well, as these Doomfire Warlocks do get a nice surround off on him, but they are going to be wavering right now, and Morathi does finally come back, and here is that Soul Stealer. All that is going to be very nice for her. She does need that health back. It does not get Arkan, but it does get the Sepulchral Stalkers and the Tomb Scorpion, so a good pick there. Otherwise, things are starting to kind of collapse and consolidate into a small little area as all of the Corsairs are pretty much being pushed off by these Necropolis Knights, doing some good damage there, with some Skeleton Warriors very low on health. But, I mean, these Ushabti and Sepulchral Stalkers, really the only things that can really do a ton of damage to those Blackguard are faltering right now. And it does look like the Tomb Scorpion is kind of in a bad spot right now. He can do quite a bit of damage, but just all these units surrounding it is not going to be good for them. But it looks like both of the, at least Arkan is out of the picture right now, and that last little Soul Stealer gave Morathi a bit of health left, but she has already routed twice, so a single rout will finish her off once and for all. But again, it seems like the Blackguard of Naggarond are just proving to be a little too much to deal with for the Tomb Kings. All of their real good answers to them have really been brought down pretty low. I mean, these Ushabti are like at point-blank range, and one of these Blackguard could just easily shut them down, and they would lose even that small amount of damage that they had. I mean, down goes the Necrotech, and army losses will be triggering as the Dark Elves will take this battle. A little touch and go for the Dark Elves there, but they were able to pull through. Morathi kind of getting into a bit of trouble here and there. Let's take a look at the after battle report, kind of get a little breakdown of that battle. So these Blackguard Corsairs actually doing exactly what they were brought to do, and that was just chew through the front line of the Tomb Kings, and they did exactly that. 188 kills for this unit. That is a ton of good work, and Witch Elves doing good as well, getting those Tomb Scorpions rampaged into those very powerful anti-large units is in the Blackguard of Naggarond, and the Feral Manticores pretty much being brought just as a goon squad against Arkan, and they did do quite a bit of damage. Arkan was able to get in and out of those engagements, though, fairly easily, and the Sepulchral Stalkers almost finishing off Morathi, and had they been able to do that earlier on, that may have been enough to kind of sway the tide, but a couple of Soul Stealers in that late game really kind of put the punishment onto the Tomb King forces. The Necropolis Knights just weren't able to carry their weight, And yeah, the only things that I said were able to really answer these Blackguard was the Sepulchral Stalkers at ranged, but those ranged units really needed to be used against Marathi and those 2 Feral Manticores and the Ushapti Greatbows. Otherwise, nothing really could trade well into them. You could cycle charge with Necropolis Knights, though they'd be taking quite a bit of damage off that because you'd have to be getting rear charge, because if you do a frontal charge on them, they're just not going to get anything because they do have, I believe, expert charge versus expert charge defense. So a very hard nut to crack for this Tomb King forces. I think maybe a few Tomb Guard may have been needed here to really provide a little bit more of an anchor in that front line. And something that can do a bit of damage to those Blackguard. But all in all, very fun match, and I do hope you all enjoyed the video. And as always, have a good one.